in the past couple weeks, there's been this huge controversy because it's a little political, but it's Bernie Sanders said at the CNN town hall that he wants criminals to be able to vote from prison and then to be able to vote after prison. So the last extra T question is, should criminals be allowed to vote from prison?
Wait, currently what's the rule?
In most states, no. In most states, you can't vote for the rest of your life. But in certain states, you can vote in prison, and then you can vote after you get out of prison. I don't know the amount of states or what states it is. But yeah, that's it.
See, like, my empathetic side is like, oh, yeah, who cares? Let them vote. But, like, thinking about it in more of, like, a, law way, like, when you commit a crime, like, you are committing a crime, and you're committing a crime, and you're put in jail, and your rights are taken away from you.
Yes.
So that right to vote is something that you earn, that you're born with, and by violating the law, there should be, like, that, I feel like that right should be taken away. Not for life, though. And once you get out, you did your time, like, that's it, now you get your rights back. Like, then you can vote. Right? That's how I don't know, that's how I see it. Like, when you're in jail, I feel like you shouldn't vote, and then when you get out, you can vote again.
Mina?
I understand what you said. I'm not saying I'm against that at all. But, like, I guess it's just me. I think whether they're in jail or outside of jail, I think they should have that right. Because as long as they're here,
what about,
they should vote.
What about, like,
but it's like
rapists?
murder,
like,
rapists, they get to vote, like...
Yeah, I know, like, it sucks. It really does suck that...
They should be allowed to vote.
Yeah, just because they're human.
Interesting.
Just because, like, I'm not saying what they did was right at all. Like, that's
no,
terrible.
I know.
But, like, just because they're human, I feel that, like, that's just all right. And if they're human and living here, they should have a say in what's going on. Yeah. I feel, because
I feel like by giving them
right,
the right to vote, you're giving them some sort of right, and it's like, well, why not give them this right too and that right too? Like, they don't, if they're in jail because they did something horrible, they don't, I feel like then they shouldn't get any rights, and then, like that.
You're
like,
saying they should get them back, like,
when
they get out.
Once they did their time, like, they did their time, and they got, like, they deserve their rights back, like.
Yeah, well, I think that we all have a different opinion on this. For me, I'm thinking no in prison, no after prison, and because there are, okay, how do I put this? Especially when you're in prison, I don't think you should be allowed to vote, because if you killed someone, you raped someone, you stole money from the government, you did all of this stuff, your voice doesn't matter. I don't care if you're an American, I don't care what it is, your voice doesn't matter. You betrayed your country, you hurt other people, you're in prison. If you're not allowed to exit the building, if you're not allowed to wear certain clothing, if you're not, you shouldn't be allowed to vote in...
Because that's something that's huge. Like, but having the right to vote is something, like, that's a huge thing to have.
It's something, it is a beautiful privilege of this country that thousands and thousands have died for us to be free and to have a say in our government, to not have a monarchy, to not have a dictatorship. It's amazing that the power is to the people, and if you are corrupt, if you're a corrupt person, if you're a corrupt politician, if you're corrupt in any way, you shouldn't have the same rights as everyone else, in my opinion. Especially,
I agree with that.
Bernie Sanders got in a lot of trouble because someone asked him, what about the Boston terrorists? I mean, the Boston bomber killed people. Should he be allowed to vote? He said yes.
See, like, I don't
think so. I think that's just so immoral. And I don't believe people who go into the military and die for a country I don't think it's right for people to,
I understand your point.
I understand, too.
I do. Because, like, it's like they're human, like, they're still, like, people, like, why shouldn't they get the right? Like, I understand that completely. Mm-hmm. But, like, when you put it like that, like, like, a Boston terrorist, like, they get to vote? Like, no, they don't. Like, no.
It's very controversial.
It is.
Yeah, because it's like giving them that right is kind of like putting aside the bad that they did. I understand that. But, like, it's just...
And I agree with you. Like, it's not excusing their behavior. Like, I don't believe the right to vote means that it's okay that they kill people. Like, I get what you're saying. Like, I just don't think they should be allowed to. And I like that we can have this conversation respectfully, because everyone else, every other show that had this conversation, Meghan McCain was crying on The View a couple weeks ago. I mean,
something to cry about.
That's very childish. Like,
I don't think that's something to cry about.
Because her family's in the military. Her dad was John McCain. And she makes... Okay. I love her, though. She's ridiculous. I love her, though. I want to get her on the show one day.
Oh, my God, imagine.
Amazing.
But wait, so why don't you think they should be able to vote after?
Oh, after? I know, dead air. I want to formulate this without it coming out wrong. I just want to articulate my thoughts.
Because like they did their time, like
they did their time.
I mean, a Boston terrorist wouldn't get out of jail, so you don't have to worry about that.
Well, if he ever does, I don't think that he should be allowed to vote. Maybe if I would be more open to it if it's like a lesser crime, but also like if you're going to prison, you were guilty of doing something pretty bad. I mean, if you went away for a while, it's if you stole money from the government, why should you be able to vote for that government? If you killed a citizen of this country, why should you be able to have a say in what any citizen does? I mean, it's just I know what you're saying. I mean, I know these are maybe exaggerations of like crimes.
So we all have completely different opinions on this.
Yeah, I don't think that.
Straight up
I think it's complete betrayal.
Like halfway.
And I think it's unforgivable in most cases. I think it's forgivable in some cases, especially if you did reform and you got better, and then I understand, and I'm more open to being open about that, but it's just there's some crimes that I feel like it's just too much to budge and give them back their full human rights, even if they're out of prison.
Yeah. Okay.
And the right to vote isn't a necessity. It's not a necessity to your life. Like, you need food, water. Those are your human rights. It's important. I think it's very important, but I don't think that if you betray the country, you shouldn't have that right, I think.